And welcome back to the UFO Show here on the Area 51 Sports Network, brought to you by Bet99.com. Make sure to head over to area51sportsnetwork.com/betting. There you will find a link to Bet99.com. First-time users get up to $600 off of a bet back bonus. So whatever you put in, you get that money back as a bonus, up to $600. So, Andy, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. My allergies are driving me crazy, so I apologize if I sound a little stuffed up or if I have to wipe my nose, but otherwise not bad. How about you?
I'm good. It's May, it's June.
June now, yeah.
So, yeah, those things happen. Now, Andy, before we start, I got an important question to ask you here. Which soda is more underrated in your opinion? Cream soda or orange soda?
Ooh, underrated? I don't know. I really like cream soda, so I rank it high. I'd say orange soda is probably underrated.
I feel like those are like, everybody talks about like Pepsi, Coke, whatever, like they go down the list and always cream soda or orange soda is always left off for some reason.
Yeah, that's true. You never really find them at restaurants or anything. It's usually one or the other, but never both.
Yeah. So let's jump into the betting here because we got busy day. Okay, so we'll jump right into the NHL. So tonight, Game 5, Tampa, New York. Series shifts back to New York for this one, for Game 5. We have the New York Rangers are actually the underdogs at plus 105, and then Tampa's at minus 123. Do you think that the series the momentum has shifted that much, or that, this series is going to be one of these like home team wins every game and then Game 7's a toss up?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like every game has been fairly close regardless of the final score ends up being. I actually like the Rangers at plus 105 at home. I think anytime this far in the playoffs, you can get a home team as the underdog. It's probably, just for the value play alone. I mean, it's not super big odds at plus 105, but I like the Rangers here tonight.
So Bet99, yeah, I like. I think that the Rangers are a good bet, but every time I bet on the Rangers, they've lost. So I'm just gonna abstain from that one for sure.
There you go.
I think. But if you're asking me, I think that Tampa Bay has the momentum now at this point. So we also have a boosted odd right now, boosted from plus 175 to plus 215. Adam Fox over 1.5 points. Do you see Fox, ending up on the score sheet twice tonight?
Yeah, I'm not sure about ending up on the score sheet twice. I kind of expect a low-scoring game. Vasilevsky seems to always shut down the opponent as these games get more important. So for a defenseman to score 2 points tonight, I think that might be a little bit of a challenge. So although the odds are pretty good, I'd probably pass on that bet.
And then another boosted odd we have is Corey Perry to score 1+ goal at plus 325. He's come up clutch multiple times this postseason. Do you see him coming up clutch again?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like you said, he's managed to show up basically every big game so far. So I don't see why he wouldn't tonight.
Hmm. So yeah, those are some of the bets to look at for the NHL tonight. It should be an exciting game. These games have been close, but really they only seem to be close because Ilya Shesterkin is making like 30 to 40, 40 saves a night basically.
Yeah, no, he's been really good, and that's kind of why I like the Rangers to win this game, especially at home. I mean, he's given Vasilevsky a run for his money for best goalie. Certainly this season, I think he's been the best goalie, and I think he's starting to enter the conversation as best goalie in the league. If you had to win one game, he's basically got the Rangers this far, so he's been really good. And in a low scoring game, like I think we're going to see like a 2-1 type game. So he's going to have to come up big again for the Rangers tonight.
Yeah, Vasilevsky, I just don't really know what to say about him anymore, and I feel like a lot of people are on the same page here. Or sorry, Shesterkin. But so if you want to bet that Shesterkin is going to make 35 plus saves, you get plus 102. To get the same value for Vasilevsky, it's 32 plus saves. So if you think that Tampa is going to control the game once again, that Shesterkin plus 32 saves or plus 35 saves is pretty good value. Plus 39 saves gets you plus 154. So if you think that the Rangers are going to fire, 45 to 50 shots again on Shesterkin, which I mean they've done it a couple times already, so that might be an odd to look at for sure.
Yeah, I like those bets. Like I said, I think it's going to be a low scoring game, and that either lends itself to not that many shots or to a lot of shots. And like you said, excuse me, the way the previous games have gone, I think we're going to get a goalie duel with lots of chances and lots of shots. So might be worth putting a bit of money on both of those overs for saves for Vasilevsky and Shesterkin, and might be a way to make a bit of extra money.
And if you think that Alexei Lafreniere is just going to go off in this game, fire everything to the net, Bet99 right now, if you bet 6 plus shots on him, it's plus 1,825. So if you want to put one of those like long shot bets on there, Bet99 has you covered. Even Pat Maroon, 5 plus shots, 1720. So they do have these long shot bets with shots on goal. Shots on goal are a little bit easier to bet on than points if you're looking for that type of thing. But as you say that, then the one time that you bet, that like Panarin's going to get like 3 shots, of course, he'll get 0. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but shots on goal generally is an easier bet to land than points, especially when you pick players that stand in front of the net or are power play players.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So we also have the start of the CFL this week. Now there aren't really any steals here. All of the home teams are favored. You can look at Ottawa at plus 340 over Winnipeg, but Winnipeg is back-to-back Grey Cup champions, and they're playing at home. So, that if you really have faith in Ottawa, that's like an option. BC, even though they're expected to, not have a great season, they are favored at home to Edmonton. Got Saskatchewan favored at home to Hamilton, and Calgary favored at home to Montreal. But if you want to put down a Grey Cup bet right now is the time for sure. So we got Winnipeg at plus 245. But if you're looking for value on the what is it called? On the betting lines, Hamilton at plus 500 to win the Grey Cup is a very good bet to put on. They have made it to the Grey Cup the last couple years. they didn't lose a ton from their team. It looks like they kind of got a little bit better. They are the favorite out of the East. And, if it's Winnipeg Hamilton for a third time, I don't see Winnipeg going a straight three-peat sweep of the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really super up to date on the CFL, but I'd agree. I think, to beat another team in a championship 3 years in a row seems a little bit aggressive. And, looking at the odds, plus 500 seems to be kind of that sweet spot where you're getting good value, but it also doesn't seem, super unrealistic either.
Yeah, and of note, the Grey Cup is in at Mosaic Stadium this year, so in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan at plus 460. So, when you do look at that type of stuff, where the Grey Cup is being held, generally, it's a good indication that the team is going to really push this year. So Saskatchewan is another good bet at plus 460, but there's a reason that, it's over a plus 200 line difference between Winnipeg and Saskatchewan for the Grey Cup, because Winnipeg is just that dominant, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you want to jump into a little bit of baseball here?
Sure, let's do it.
So let's start with the boosted odds here. We got the Braves, Twins, and Red Sox all to win at plus 800. So boosted plus 675.
Well, I mean, the Red Sox seem like basically a lock versus the Angels. The Angels haven't won a game in, I think, 16 days. I think they lost 15 in a row. They fired their manager. They seem to be just spiraling out of control. And then, sorry, who were the other two in that parlay you said?
You got Twins and Braves.
Yeah, so the Braves have been, having a decent season this year. They're at home to the Pirates. The Pirates are one of the worst teams in the league, so I like the Braves. And then as for the Twins, this game's kind of a toss-up to me. They're playing the Rays. The Rays have had, kind of an up and down season, I'd say. Sometimes they look really good and lose. Sometimes they look horrible and win. Sometimes they look good and win. For 2 or 3 of those bets being pretty certain, I would probably take that parlay, and you just hope, over the course of a season, you get lucky and the Twins can pull one out.
And then on the other side, we have Shohei Ohtani to record 8+ strikeouts, Red Sox versus Angels at plus 130.
Yeah, I mean, Ohtani has proven that he's always right there in terms of, strikeouts per innings pitched leaders. This is the type of game where the Angels need their best players to really step up. And with Mike Trout not playing tonight, I think he's injured again. I could see Ohtani getting with something like 11, 12, 13 strikeouts and just try to sort of single-handedly win this game on his own. So I like those odds for the over 8 strikeouts for sure.
So let's talk a little money line then on some of the games tonight that haven't started. We got the Pittsburgh Pirates and Atlanta Braves. Max Fried for the Braves. JT Brubaker for the Pirates. Pirates are at plus 240. Braves are at minus 300. What is going on with the Pirates that every year it's just kind of, let's see what happens next year?
Yeah, it's a few things. I think number one, they've really missed on some of their high draft picks over the years. Number two, they don't seem to have the commitment from ownership to really spend money, and when they do develop these younger players, to pay them and keep them around. I think of somebody like Andrew McCutchen 6-7 years ago was one of the best players in the league, and they just let him walk. They're kind of stuck in this cycle, much like the Ottawa Senators are, where they draft a few good players, and then when they kind of lose team control and it's time to open the checkbook, they just trade them or let them walk and start over. So, if I had to make a bet on this one, I mean, we just took Braves as part of that parlay. So Braves have their ace going tonight at home. I think it's pretty much a guaranteed win for the Braves tonight.
Twins, Yankees. So Garrett Cole on the mound at minus 200 versus Dylan Bundy at plus 170.
Yeah, I'll take the Yankees in their ace again. The Yankees are probably been the best team in the league this year. Certainly better than the Twins, although the Twins have, had a little bit of a better start to the season than I expected. But like I said, Garrett Cole is proving why he got the largest pitcher contract in MLB history. So I'll take the Yankees on the money line here.
So we got Baltimore Orioles with Jordan Lyes versus KC Royals and Christopher Bubik. And this is a pick'em game, -110 for the Royals, -105 for the Orioles.
Yeah, those odds seem about right. Both teams aren't the greatest. Baltimore, again, is destined for a bottom 5 finish in the league. I guess I'd take the Royals at home whenever it's sort of a pick 'em. I defer to the home team, so I'd take the Royals -110.
And then we're looking at, we talked a little bit about the Red Sox and Angels. Ohtani versus Nick Pivetta.
Pivetta.
The Angels are actually favored in this one, so I'm guessing that's why they, did the parlay boosted odds there. That they think that the Angels are finally going to break their streak tonight.
Yeah, I mean Nick Pivetta is I think he's from Vancouver Island actually, so a bit of a local angle here for us in BC. The Angels aren't going to lose the rest of the season. They're going to win again eventually. I still like the Red Sox here until the Angels prove that they can get out of their own way and win a game. I'm going to bet against them. Red Sox plus 105 isn't great odds, but like I said, the Angels seem to be in a free fall. They fired their manager. They're trying to play nickelback every chance they get now at the stadium, trying to shake things up. But I don't know. There's something clearly not working with the Angels, and until they prove that they can win, I would take the Red Sox.
Now, speaking a little bit about the Angels, I got a question for you here. Do you see a scenario where if I know that they look like they're going to miss the playoffs again this year, unless they figure something out. Like, do you see a situation where Mike Trout gets dealt at any point? I know that he signed a couple years ago this, the 12-year deal to essentially retire as an Angel, but do you see a situation where the organization and the player just say, you know what, it's not working here anymore. Let's try to get a new start somewhere. And then the Angels can pull in like a gigantic haul of prospects and draft picks.
Not in the next 3 or 4 years. I think Trout, number one, likes it in LA where he's well known, but he can sort of walk down the street and be left alone. He has a young family. Other thing with Mike Trout too, if you're an acquiring team and you're going to pay, like you said, multiple top 5 prospects in your organization, is you need to know that Mike Trout is healthy. I don't remember the last time he went through an entire year without missing games because of injury. So it just seems like one of those things where Trout doesn't really want to leave. And if you're an acquiring team, you're taking a big risk because it seems like he always gets injured. So I don't see him moving anytime soon.
What about Ohtani? Because, he is 27 now. He's got one more year. So he's signed for this year, and then he's got the arbitration right next year. Do you see a situation where, maybe they look at moving Ohtani in any capacity?
Yeah, so he's a free agent in 2024, I believe. So he has one more year of team control. I think a lot of it is going to come down to what does Ohtani want to do in terms of money-wise, position, kind of what he sees as his future. I don't think he'll be traded this year, but if contract talks don't go well next year or this winter, I could definitely see him moving next trade deadline for sure.
Yeah, that will be something to watch. I'm sure that, we'll hear the same names, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, Astros. Am I missing really anybody? Like, those seem to be the 4 teams that are in on like everybody every single year, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Ohtani is that he's so unique that I think every team in the league would be interested in him. Probably outside of the Tampa Rays, just because they don't have the finances to pay him. But I think every team would be interested. I think the Detroit Tigers would be a team to keep an eye on. I think depending on how how the year goes for both of the Chicago teams the next year and a half. They could be interested. They're obviously big market teams that would have the cash to decide one of these mega deals. And then I look at a team like the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're, sort of starting to get a bit more of their prospects coming. Ohtani's the type of player that could really revitalize that market. So I could see those Chicago teams in Arizona being interested as well.
You look at like history of Japanese players as well. You got a team like Seattle, if they're willing to buck up the money. There is a long history of them bringing in Japanese-based players. Their ownership is Japanese as well. I could be speaking just from a wishful perspective, but also you also have to remember, like, he's probably going to the National League if he gets traded. Like, there's no way the Angels are going to trade him within their league or even within their division.
Yeah, I would say with an in-division trade would be tough. I could definitely see Ohtani going there as a free agent. The concern I would have with Seattle is, they've been in this 20-year rebuild, and they, some of their top prospects are starting to reach the major leagues and either figure it out. I think of Julio Rodriguez, who's had a decent start to his major league career, and then you have a guy like Jared Kelenic, who is looking like a bust right now, and he was at one point a top 5 prospect in baseball. So, do the Mariners, do they feel they have the assets and the need to acquire a marquee name like Ohtani and really make a run for it, or do they think they need to blow it up again and start over? That would be the question I'd have, but I don't see Ohtani making his way to Seattle unless he's a free agent.
Yeah, I feel like Jerry Dipoto is in win now mode, because how many opportunities do you get missing the playoffs? Like how I think we're kind of near the end where Jerry Dipoto is like, if you don't make it the playoffs this year, there's a new general manager coming in next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially he really opened the wallet for Robbie Ray, the reigning Cy Young winner from Toronto last year, and he's been a massive disappointment this year, right? So I think you're right in your assessment, Adam. He's kind of getting to the point where his top prospects are starting to make the major leagues, and the free agent signings he's made haven't really worked. I think of Robinson Cano years back too, another guy who wasn't Dipoto's signing necessarily, but another guy who came to Seattle with big expectations and flopped, right? So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, the Mariners are really at a crossroads, in my opinion. They either have to go all in, like you said, and try to acquire somebody like an Ohtani, or they need to blow it up and start over, because what they're currently doing hasn't been working for 2 decades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would rather them, eventually figure it out, because I've never seen them play a playoff game before. So, yeah. I guess let's jump into tomorrow. So tomorrow we got the Chicago Cubs with Wade Miley on the mound, plus 200, versus the New York Yankees with Luis Severino at minus 240.
Yeah, I like the Yankees here. Wade Miley is going to be making his first start off the DL tomorrow, or the IL, excuse me. Last time he tried to pitch, I think he went an inning and a third or 2 and a third. So there is some questions about how healthy he is and how much they're going to push him. That said, the Cubs have played, I think, 1 game in the last 4 days. They got rained out in Baltimore yesterday, and then they had 2 off days on either end of that series. So, the bullpen shouldn't be an issue for Chicago. But again, the Yankees are one of the best teams in the league, and Chicago just doesn't have the talent to match up with the Yankees. If they fall behind early, I think it's going to be over quick. So I would take the Yankees minus 240.
Toronto Blue Jays, Jose Barrios, minus 200 versus the Detroit Tigers. Elvin Rodriguez at plus 170.
Yeah, I mean, Barrios seemed to have a really good outing last game. I think he went 7+. He looked really dialed in. Again, the Tigers are a team I think is a year or 2 away from really being dangerous. So Blue Jays are the better team. I would take the Blue Jays here.
And we'll wrap up here with some NBA. That's tomorrow. Golden State on the this is game 4. So on the road at plus 135 versus the Boston Celtics at minus 160. Boston up 2-1. They had a 16-point win last night. Klay Thompson comes out with the comments about how the Boston fans are unclassy, which I don't think any is a surprise to anybody, about how they were swearing at him and all the other Golden State Warriors with kids in the stands. So do you think that Golden State uses that as momentum to kind of quiet the Garden crowd?
I think so. I mean, I don't think Golden State's played their best game yet this series. And I just have a hard time betting against Steph and Clay, and seeing them go down 3-1. I just don't see that happening. So I would take Golden State at plus 135.
Yeah, I think that the Golden State Warriors are a good bet for that game. Jason Tatum he had like a good game 3, but he hasn't really shown up. And then you have Steph, who's, dropping 35 points, but it's like, it's not a Steph type of performance. Klay Thompson, who's been pretty average this playoff. We haven't even heard Andrew Wiggins' name really. I just think that, Steve Kerr is a smart enough coach to know when to push the buttons. And I just feel like, game 4 is kind of when they're going to really kick it up a notch, knowing what the series is basically.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that.
So I guess that will wrap this week's episode up of the UFO Show. Once again, make sure to head over to area51sportsnetwork.com/betting to use the link to connect to Area 50 or to bet99.com. For Andy, I'm Adam, and thank you once again for watching this week's episode of the UFO Show.